and put in the payment amount. Let's say it's $200, and I can pay anything I want. So if I want to pay the newest invoice, the one I just made, I can put it here, and I can put in a check number. I could also receive payment from the trust account. If the customer has a trust account, you can choose that, and it'll load in their trust accounts. Right now they don't have one, so let's do it by check. Check number 2, and save the payment. And if I go back to the invoice list, you can see that there is the $200 payment here on that invoice. So that's how you can actually see that coming in right on the invoice itself. So that's pretty much a little run through of making an invoice, and I showed you the accounting isolation also. So that's key, and again, a lot of people have been asking for that, and just so I can open up the invoice for you and just show you like the big difference between it. So if you see here, this previous balance, this $21,511 is all the money owed by this non-ABA client, whether it's this particular project or all their projects. So people don't like that because they want to show the customer for each project how much they owe. And this client is not set up for project level accounting. So when you see this previous balance, that's going to show you each and every invoice together through all their projects how much they owe. So some people like that. They want to show the client how much they owe. Some people don't want to do that. They want each project to show a previous balance only for that project. So you might be familiar with that. That a lot of people have been saying that and asking, you know, what's the story with having that set up the right way, where you can actually just see that happen. So now we have that available. And again, it's under admin system, and it's right here, accounting isolation. We're also going to be adding that to like the setup wizard. When people sign up, it'll ask them what type of accounting they want, and they'll be able to choose one. So if anyone has any questions, that's just a brief run through. If you have any questions and you want to see certain things, you can ask me, but that's just a little overview, and this is exactly what I run in my webinars. The other thing I'll show here, one more thing, is the Outlook plugin. So the Outlook plugin is great. It works with 2007, 2010, and 2013 versions of Outlook. This is 2013. Here's the meeting we have today at 11 a.m. my time. If I want to send this to Time Tracker, I can right-click on it, hit Send to Time Tracker, and then it'll open up a time entry window right from Outlook, and I could send in my time. So I have a bunch of firms associated with my email address, so I'll pick one. The next time that'll come up automatically. And then I can choose, again, any customers I want. They're all listed right here. Whichever ones I actually have access to are listed here. And the task codes are here. If I use task codes, they'll be listed there also. So once I convert that over, you'll see it in red. That means it's actually converted to a time entry, but not yet synced with the server. And it'll sync automatically, and that's set in the options here. So every 15 minutes, I could change it to every 8 hours or anything in between. And if I want to just sync it manually, I could click Export here. And now it's going to turn green like it just did. And now back inside of the actual application, I have a new entry for an hour, and it has the little icon here from Outlook, and you can training for Philippines popped up, and I actually logged it towards a client. So you don't have to log it towards a client or project. If it's not billable, you could just convert it over or just make a time entry right here. So it's only you only need to choose a client and service item only if it's billable. So I can make a new time entry right from here if I wanted to. Just click New Time Entry, and then I get the box. You see the firm name remains, so I don't have to choose the firm. So again, I could choose whatever I want here, even the non-ABA client. So look how the project and service items stay the same. Well, the service item is the non-ABA codes, right? But as soon as I choose someone else, then I get the service item and task codes, and now it uses the ABA codes. So it dynamically will change depending on the client. So if anyone has any questions, I think this is a good time for to ask anything, or if you want to see certain aspects of a program that you're not really that familiar with and you want to get more familiar with, please ask. But this is just a good overview of the actual product. Anybody have any questions?
Donna, do you guys have any questions for Douglas?
The other thing you should definitely do is sign up for accounts, try it out, and also connect with QuickBooks. So that's now for sale on our website. So from here, when you go to the pricing page, you'll see that you can sign up for Time Tracker. And by the way, if you sign up and you need me to extend the free trials, it's not a problem. I can always do that. But you want the billing here. You could add the legal here. And then the QuickBooks Sync is good to try, so you can add that there. The one thing it's going to do immediately if you go to add QuickBooks Sync is when you enter your time, you're not going to be able to invoice it until you approve it. So you all know the approval flow that we have with the regular time tracker that you've been supporting for years. So that approval flow goes into effect immediately when you connect to QuickBooks. So you have to approve time in order to invoice it. And that is the same as the weekly time entry, the whole approval button, all that stuff would be there. Right now it's not here because I'm not connected to QuickBooks. So there's no approval process. Even when you're not connected to QuickBooks, if you want to turn on the approval process, you can. Some firms like the approvals in order to invoice, so you can do that. That's under the time and expense. So you see it here, approve time entries. I can enable that, and then I'll have to approve the time entries anyway. But if you're connected to QuickBooks, this automatically will be enabled, just so you know. But you should try that out if you connect to QuickBooks, because once you approve time, the time syncs to QuickBooks. Everybody knows that there. Approving time syncs it to QuickBooks. And when you finalize an invoice, that will sync the invoice to QuickBooks. So those are really the two keys that you should know that's very important when it comes to QuickBooks. Approving time will sync it to QuickBooks. Everyone knows that. Finalizing an invoice will sync the invoice to QuickBooks. Okay, so when it's a pre-bill, it doesn't go to QuickBooks. When you finalize the invoice, it goes to QuickBooks. And of course, with the sync manager and everything else that you used to seeing. When you make a payment, the payment syncs to QuickBooks. A debit or a credit memo will also sync to QuickBooks. So those are the things that sync to QuickBooks. But you should definitely try. You all have QuickBooks Desktop, so you should try that out also. Now, time and billing doesn't sync to QuickBooks yet. We have a few beta users that are testing it out, but that's going to be happening also. So time and billing will also be syncing to QuickBooks pretty soon. But the best way to learn the product is to use it. So, I really suggest that everybody have accounts, and everybody already has QuickBooks Desktop, so you can go and create as many QuickBooks Desktop accounts as you want. Nigel, I also have a QuickBooks Online code that you could use for your whole office. I got 4 of them, so I'm going to give one to us, one to you. I need one for my webinars, and I think I'm giving the other one, I forget to who, maybe to VJ's team or something like that, or the developers to use. So I could give you a code, and you could sign up for QuickBooks Online and just use that internally for your team. If you want to see how it is to use QuickBooks Online and sync with, with eAbility, you could do that.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. But the best way, just to reiterate, you should all be on the system, and if you have free time, of course, between chats or whatever, just use it, test it out, try the different settings, overtime on and off. Some of them are just very self-explanatory, but you should just try everything out and see how it works. Okay, all right, thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Thanks again for your support.
All right, thank you, Doug.
All
Bye-bye.
right, bye bye.